Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Extreme Ad in the True Off My Chest subreddit. The post is titled, "The women at my job made a list of the hottest guys and left me off of it." I posted this in another subreddit, but I was told it didn't fit, so I'm posting it here. So here's the deal. I work at a store part-time while I'm attending classes. There are a total of 21 of us who work at the store. 13 girls, 8 guys, and we're all around the same age. We have a pretty good working atmosphere, no open hostility as far as I know, and everyone gets along well and jokes around with everyone. Though I will say, the guys and girls do tend to stick together more. As for me, I am fairly well liked by everyone. I try to be pleasant to everyone I work with because who needs an unpleasant coworker? Unfortunately, here's where things go bad. One of the guys who works with us, Chris, is dating one of the girls in the store, Ashley. Chris was apparently messing around on her phone when he came across the girls' group chat. He said it was mostly girl talk, but he found a list ranking all of the guys in the store by their hotness. He had a laugh about it and screenshotted it to send to our group chat. Everyone saw it and had a laugh at the rankings. The guy at the top, Chad, kept sending crown emojis. Then everyone noticed I wasn't there. I didn't look at the chat until later since I was with my parents at the time and had it on mute. When I saw I wasn't on the list, it was like I was slapped across the face. And the worst part of this, the list was out of 10 and they included the 3 delivery guys who drop off stuff and some of the girls flirt with. This crushed me in a way I don't think I've ever been crushed before. It's like, damn, I'm that much of a hideous monster that I'm not even worthy of being ranked. I spent the rest of my day feeling miserable and not talking to anyone. When I wasn't responding to the chat, the guys all tried to hit me up individually, but I didn't respond. I looked into the chat and the guys were starting to be upset on my behalf, which I definitely didn't want. I decided to call in sick the next day, and when I didn't show up, apparently it all came out into the open. The girls at the store started messaging me, apologizing, and making all kinds of excuses. Quite frankly, I didn't care. I decided to face the music the next day and suck it up at work. When I walked in, the atmosphere was a lot more tense than usual. Becky, who is the assistant manager and was on the group chat, pulled me to the side and asked if we could talk. I said okay. She apologized on behalf of everyone in the chat and said that the list was not serious. It was girl talk and not meant to be seen outside the chat. She said that everyone, especially the women at the store, like me for far more valuable things than simply how I look, and that if it were a list of the nicest guys in the store, I'd be number 1. I couldn't help but feel like this was damage control and being friend-zoned all in one motion. I said thank you, but I'm past it and I don't want anyone's pity, and I went about my day. Of course, I did end up getting that pity with a lot of the guys coming over to talk to me and some of the girls as well. I got so fed up I went to the manager and asked to go home early. She agreed because she kind of knew what was going on. This was all about 5 days ago, and since then everyone at the store has been trying to get me to talk, but I haven't gone back. I don't want pity and I don't want sympathy. If they think I'm ugly, then fine, but don't try to justify it or make me feel better about it. The reason I'm here is because I need advice on how to navigate the situation at my job and with my friends. How do I tell everyone to basically leave me alone and not pity me? Because honestly, I'm leaning towards just quitting. Edit, hey everyone, I'm reading your comments and I thank everyone for their input, the tough love and all. I just wanted to pop in here and say one thing. I didn't feel entitled to them thinking I was attractive. I don't feel entitled to sex or anything from them. I'm not a nice guy or an incel. The reason I was upset is because them leaving me off the list for relative strangers felt pretty cruel and messed up. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I guess it sucks I'm not attractive to them, but being left off entirely felt like a step too far. Update. I'm back and I have an update for you. I can't believe the situation exploded so much. There was a fight, arrests, and I think someone might be getting divorced. Okay, not really. People wanted to know how I was doing, so I decided I'd just make an update. I just wanted to clear up a few things. First, I didn't necessarily care if they found me ugly or whatever, I just felt like being left off the list was a deliberate slap in the face. I didn't and don't feel entitled to anything. Next, the manager of the store, Barb, was not involved in the group chat in any way. She's a 38-year-old married woman with 2 kids who is far too busy trying to get us to stop smoking weed behind the store on our breaks. What I meant to say is that she was made aware of the situation after it was brought to her attention. Third, I wasn't aware of the list right away. I was with my parents and wasn't paying attention to the chat. Now, after reading the comments on the first thread, I decided that while I could be upset that I was deemed unattractive, I probably shouldn't care as much as I did. I kind of wanted to discover why not being on the list hurt me so much, so I took my sister's advice and will be seeking a therapist. Funny enough, my grandpa has a saying that came to mind when reading the comments in the first thread. Whenever my dad or his brothers and sisters would be upset about something, my grandpa would tell them, "I didn't get wounded in the Ia Drang Valley, so you could sit there and cry about X." The X could be anything. The point is, he was telling them to toughen up. It became a joke among my aunts and uncles that passed down to my cousins. So I could hear my grandpa telling me in my head, "I didn't get wounded in the Ia Drang Valley, so you could sit there and cry about some girls thinking you're ugly." And that got me up a bit. I was still feeling kind of shitty, but I decided to put on a brave face and tell my manager I'd come into work the next day. As soon as I walked in, the manager took me to her office and said the owner of the store wanted to see me. I wasn't really worried since I had a good relationship with Carl, who was the owner. Carl told me he heard about the story and was sorry about everything. He said the list was childish and unprofessional, and he was sorry I had to take time off to deal with it. He said the girls all got a strong reprimand and a stern warning that this wouldn't be tolerated in the future. He also suspended Becky because he said she should not have been in the chat to begin with, and if she was, she should have stopped the list stuff. He emphasized that he told everyone he hadn't talked to me yet and that he wasn't punishing anyone because I asked for it. He also said he'd pay me for the shifts I missed as a bit of compensation for the mental distress. I thanked him and told him I was over it pretty much right away. I just hated having everyone think I needed coddling and wanted everything to cool down. With that, we shook hands and I started my day. Everyone welcomed me back and I said hi to everyone. I went to my locker and found a letter slipped inside. It was a handwritten letter from all the girls. I'll summarize here because the list was long. In it, they apologized profusely for the chat and the list. They said that nothing was going to make it right or make me believe them, but they wanted to say once again that the list was not serious and meant to be some stupid fun. No one was meant to see it. They said that they all loved me individually, that I was a good person, and that makes me more attractive than most people who are considered hot. Interestingly, they said I was considered cute. Okay then. I flagged down one of the girls on shift who I get along with really well, Sam, to tell the group that I accept their apology. I told her to tell them that I got over it pretty much right away, that I just took time off because I wanted the situation to die down, and that I didn't take anything personally. Also, I told her that I'm sorry that anyone got in trouble. I didn't talk to Barb or Carl about anything until today. I didn't want this to become an issue at all. Unfortunately, the guys made it an issue on my behalf. Sam apologized again and told me she'd tell everyone. And that's that. Sorry if this was not the explosive post you all were looking for. I just wanted to get this situation resolved as soon as possible and put it behind me so that I and everyone else can move on. I am thinking about not returning next semester, however, so thanks all. I appreciate your comments and helping me get through this little episode in my life. 4 months later, OP posted an edit to this post. I thought I'd stop by for a quickish update. I had enough people in my direct messages asking me how I was doing, and I got sick of responding to everyone individually, so I thought I'd do it here since this really didn't warrant a whole new thread. First, I'm doing great. Therapy has been amazing so far. I even managed to go in person, which my therapist says is really rare these days, but now that I'm back in school, I'll be doing virtual sessions. Back to the point, I've learned a lot about myself in therapy, and I've had my view of the world altered to some degree. It's actually really cool to see the world in a new light. Second, I know this is going to sound cliche as hell, but I started weight training. I'm not trying to be Chris Hemsworth or anything, I just want enough to have some definition and abs. I was always a little skinny, so I'm going for the swimmer's physique. I also got a haircut and changed up my wardrobe a bit. All of my clothes, except for a few, were from high school, so it was time to change it up. No more band shirts and old sweats. Instead, I'm trying for a semi-casual look, or at least that's what my sister thinks I should be doing. Third, as for the store, I quit. I couldn't work there anymore. It would have been just too weird. I finished the semester and got a summer internship. Funny enough, I ran into one of the girls who worked with me at the mall. She asked if I was still mad about the list, and I told her I wasn't and never was. She said they really didn't mean anything by the list and that they really did love me, thought I was super nice, and that I was pretty cute. I guess that's a good thing, lol. It kind of sucks because I was looking forward to being a 4-year lifer at the store and hanging out with everyone more, but hey, it is what it is. I'm still really cool with everyone, we hang out all the time, and it isn't awkward. So I guess that's it, and if you're still following this post, thanks. Dougal is God said, "You couldn't pay me enough to manage 21 people in this age group." To this comment, Outdated Boat said, "This is unironically how a decent number of stores are. I worked retail when I was around that age. The vast majority of my coworkers were around that age as well. There was tons of drama and many employees hooking up with or dating other employees. My manager was a middle-aged woman who didn't get involved in the drama but had her own flaws. Everyone else in management below her was young and inexperienced, basically just another one of the kids. It was awful. It was like high school drama just didn't end. Getting out of retail was one of the best things I've ever done." Steve A. Butt said, "As an introvert, I really dislike situations like this. I know I am average looking and I am completely fine with that. I am socially awkward too, and again, I am aware of it. It is just who I am and I have made peace with that. What bothers me is when nosy people go out of their way to comfort me, trying to make me feel better about things I'm not even upset about. The more they try to protect my feelings, the more uncomfortable and out of place I feel. It is hard to explain, but in those moments, I end up feeling invalidated, like who I am is not acceptable unless it is being fixed. I just want to be alone. And honestly, I am fine being alone. I am not lonely, I am not broken, I am just someone who is more comfortable that way. But then people come along acting like they need to fix me or cheer me up, and it drives me crazy. The more they try to comfort me, the more it feels like they do not actually see me. It is like being myself is not enough unless it fits their idea of what is normal, and that just makes me feel invalid, like I need to justify something that was never a problem to begin with." This next post was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Prophet Electronic. The post is titled, "I don't want the executor to change the will." Hello all, I am the beneficiary of a will that belongs to a deceased uncle. The executor, who is the brother of the deceased, wants the will changed and gave me a document outlining the changes they would like made. Upon reading this document, it became clear that they do not care about what my uncle wanted. It just seems like they are rewriting the will to suit their own agendas. There is no way I am signing off on any changes to the will. Apparently, the executor has been saying that unless I sign off on the changes, they will not release any of the money locked up in the will. The executor made sure this ultimatum reached me indirectly. He has also been pretty careful not to say in our written communications that he is refusing to follow the will. What can I do if the executor refuses to carry out the will? Update. I went to see a solicitor. His take is this: the executor cannot change the will. I should inform the lawyers handling the will that I will not sign off on any changes. Other than point 2, I just need to sit tight for now. While this saga has dragged on for coming up to 2 years, the executor only sold the last of my uncle's assets 6 months ago. The executor gets a full year to distribute the will. In 6 months' time, I can remove this executor. It will cost $50,000 to prepare the case and another $80,000 if it goes to court. Does this sound right? Update 2. I, a 30-year-old man, have gone no contact with my siblings and uncles. The dispute started when my uncle died. He left me a lot of money. My cousins received a share of the will, but only some land that they are already living on overseas. Unfortunately, the executor of the will did not like this. He argued that the cousins should have an equal share. The executor wrote out their own version of the will, and my siblings have had various reactions to it. Sibling 1. Anything my uncle suggests is right. Anyone challenging the executor is effectively tearing the family apart. Sibling 2, our cousins need a greater share. I am happy to give 75% of my share away to the cousins. Sibling 3. This is awful, but I cannot challenge the executor as he is family. Myself. The executor cannot do this. My uncle made it clear what he wanted in the will. The deceased's instructions are more important than family politics. We can compensate the cousins after the will is carried out. I have made it clear that I will not sign off on the executor's changes. His response has been to move forward with it regardless, and it looks like I will need to take him to court. While I've been weighing up my options, my siblings have been pretty hostile to me. I went no contact with sibling 3 for a while after he left me a voice message. He does not just shout at people when he is angry, he really tries to destroy them. His longtime girlfriend mysteriously refuses to marry him, but when I heard this message, I finally understood. She always wants to have the option of leaving this psycho. Anyway, my siblings have been pretty toxic. I suspect the executor has told them that they will not receive their share of the will until I sign off on the changes. I have gone no contact with all of them. I am not going home for Christmas this year. My wife noticed that I am the only happy person at my family events, so she is supportive of me going no contact. Am I the asshole for going no contact with my family? Update 3. A lot has happened since my last update, so I will try to pick out the key points. The executor was not happy that I contacted the lawyers handling the estate. He got angry and tried to find out what I had told the lawyers. The lawyers confirmed to me that they received my email and mentioned that they were taking appropriate action. The executor ceased communicating personal attacks toward me and conducted himself in a more conciliatory manner. He said that making no changes to the will was also an option, whereas previously he had maintained that option was off the table. The executor attempted to get my family to bully me into accepting his changes. This consisted of angry messages with a lot of exclamation marks. I simply broke off contact with anyone trying this on. About a month after this, the executor conceded defeat. He said that the will was being passed without changes. After an excruciating wait of about a month, the lawyers handling the estate contacted me asking for my bank details. 8 full weeks went by. The estate lawyers ignored my emails and avoided my phone calls. Today, I sent an email to the estate lawyers asking whether anything was wrong with the will situation. I pointed out that it had been 8 weeks. To my surprise, within 30 minutes, they sent me a waiver to sign, agreeing not to sue them or the executor in exchange for my share of the will. The sum was transferred to my bank account by the end of the day. I cannot imagine what caused such a sudden change after 8 weeks. I am just relieved that this saga has come to a close and that there was no need for a court case. I swallowed a Lego said, it does not come up as much as it should when discussing end-of-life plans, but making sure your executor is not a jerk is pretty important. Starry Summers said, there is something about wills that seems to turn some people into the worst versions of themselves. I am convinced it is the ultimate test to see if family bonds are deeper than just blood relation. It happens even when there are no great sums of money involved, which is the thing. When my grandfather died, I asked my dad if he could get me one specific item from his house to keep in his memory. He had to fight his brother, my uncle, for it because the latter had just grabbed anything he could find in my grandfather's house that was not nailed down as quickly as he could and did not want to let anyone else in the family have any of it. The item in question was a tacky plastic donkey my grandfather had on his desk. I still have it. To this Be Excellent said, sometimes wills are unfair too, and people struggle to accept that. My grandmother, who played favorites like she was in a league, left my younger brother and me out of her will, but included our 2 older siblings. Younger brother and I were good kids, so there was no reason for it. It definitely upset me, but I was not about to contest the will like an unpleasant person. We did receive a portion of my mother's money because she passed away after the will was completed. So yeah, forget you, Grammy. This final post was made in the same subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, I refuse to go to my brother's wedding if my GF cannot come. I, a 31-year-old woman, have a girlfriend of 3 years who is 32. We do not yet live together, but have begun to look for a place to live together, as both our flats are too small for 2 people, so things are very serious. My brother, who is 34, is planning his wedding to his fiancée, who is 29. I, of course, assumed my girlfriend would be welcome to come as my +1. After all, she is basically one of the family now, and we will be living together soon. But no, my brother told me that he does not think it is a good idea for her to come because the wedding will be in a church and his fiancée's family is traditional. He tried to tell me that she could come to the reception, etc., but he would rather she just not be at the ceremony. My girlfriend is willing to accept this, but I feel as though my brother is being unfair considering our younger sister's boyfriend of 6 months is invited. It is clear this is just because I am dating a woman. So I told my brother that if my girlfriend was not welcome at the ceremony, I would not come either and would just go to the reception afterward. This caused a lot of drama from my family, and my parents and siblings are all insisting I am overreacting and that it is not personal. And since it is not my day, I should just accept this. Honestly, at this point, I want to skip the reception too. So am I the asshole? Edit a little update as I am just off the phone with my brother's fiance. She had no idea about any of this and was horrified. She told me no, her family is not traditional in that sense. In fact, her gay cousin is going to be her maid of honor. My brother told her that my girlfriend had work that day. Edit 2, after talking with my girlfriend, I found out that before she and I were officially dating, my brother had drunkenly made a pass at her. She, of course, turned him down, and since we were not dating then and she figured he would not remember, she never brought it up. It is the only reason, beyond the fact that we are a lesbian couple, that she can think of for why he may have a grudge against her. Edit 3, first of all, I want to thank everyone for all your kind words and support. My girlfriend and I have decided we will not be attending the wedding or reception if it goes ahead. Instead, I have booked us a weekend trip at a cute Airbnb on the beach at the same time, and the leftover money will be going toward the deposit of our future home. Secondly, I have been in touch with my brother about this. Apparently, his fiancée has reprimanded him severely for saying those things about her family. And based on how bad the argument was, the entire wedding may be off the table. Of course, he blames me and tells me how my phase has caused him so much trouble in his relationship and possibly his wedding. I am bisexual, and he seems convinced I will end up with a man eventually, so this is just a phase. I am going zero contact for a while until he makes amends with me, and even then it will depend. Meanwhile, I have invited my potential sister-in-law to come visit for a bit if she needs to get away from him and get her head together. Edit 4, final edit. Wow, I never expected this to blow up like it did. Thank you all for your support, input, and messages. The wedding is not off, but it is postponed. My future sister-in-law is staying engaged to him, but demanding he go through therapy before she considers marrying him, as he basically broke down and a lot of personal issues came to light when they talked. My future sister-in-law is moving back to stay with her parents for a bit. My family did not know the reason why he wanted to keep my girlfriend from the wedding and were horrified and have apologized. They were just trying to prevent drama. Finally, my future sister-in-law's family has invited me and my girlfriend to theirs for a Christmas dinner so we can get to know them and see that what my brother said is in no way true. Nobody at one said he painted them as homophobic because he was ashamed of his own homophobia and biphobia, but instead of going to therapy for it, he wanted to find an excuse. I hope the wedding did not happen at all. Strategic Carey said it is not personal, so the brother is just generally a bigot, and it is not directed specifically at OP. Got it. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, GamerSupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.